How did your love story come to be? Well, we've known each other in church since 2010, but we weren't really close. We had different circles of friends and we didn't talk often. Occasionally, I'd text or chat with her about something related to church or maybe comment on a Facebook content she posted. That's it. Only during the pandemic lockdowns when Daniel resigned as a missionary that we got reconnected and started becoming friends. That was in March 2020.
Miki was one of my prayer warriors in a group chat, and he affirmed me in one of my updates. Because of that, I was led to let him know that I will be resigning from my job as a missionary.
Led to courtship right away? No, not exactly. From time to time, I would initiate conversations, but always ended up getting short replies from Daniel.
That's because I was trying to guard my heart. I actually didn't think Miki would be interested in someone like me because he was, after all, just a friendly kuya to me and to everybody else in church before.
Ugh, it was also a real challenge to let her drop the kuya.
It was only when I had my life coaching that I recognized how high my walls are around guys. I actually thought I was guarding my heart correctly, but it appeared that I drove guys away from becoming friends with me. When I realized that, one of my action points was to become friends with guys. Since Miki was already messaging me at that time, I decided, why not start with him? So I replied much longer.
There was actually a time I stopped messaging Daniel for several days. I was so scared to open my inbox because I thought she wouldn't reply or would have short replies again, but she didn't. I guess my fear came from the past hurts I experienced with other girls before. I decided then to continue messaging Daniel. But to my dismay, I felt her slowly detaching, and there she goes with the short replies again.
The reason behind that was because I got impatient waiting for his reply. Just when I was, bringing myself to get the courage and becoming friends with him, I felt stood up those several days that I didn't get a reply. Fast forward to June, just when my MA classes started, my counseling session reminded me again of my walls towards guys. I just can't get over the fact how I had so many people at that time somehow telling me not to be afraid of getting to know guys. These people included my life coach, a co missionary, an accountability friend, and even my counselor.
Daniel finally initiated a conversation with me by dropping, "How can I pray for you?" After her many realizations. I was pleasantly shocked, and that sprang me into action. I knew that this time I'm going to be more aggressive. I even tried calling her. She suggested that we do it on another day, so we had a video call 3 days later.
At that time, I was journeying in the book of Ruth and remembered how the Lord had brought me to the story of Ruth and Boaz 2 years ago. The Lord impressed upon my heart that He had someone prepared for me. I just needed to focus on my mission field, just like Ruth, and God will strategically place my future husband where He will see me. Little did I know that the day had come. Many people at that time became my Naomi, as Naomi had instructed Ruth to go to Boaz. So, my way of saying, "How can I pray for you?" was my version of Ruth going to the threshing floor. When Miki replied, he was like Boaz who took Ruth when she went to him.
Since my conversations with Daniel kept going, I knew I was going to do this all out. Long story short, after I sent her a video recording of my singing and did some obvious stuff that showed my interest in her, she asked for a call and did a DTR, defining the relationship. She inquired about my actions towards her because it left her confused, and she didn't want to assume. From there, our feelings were revealed, and I told her that I've already been courting her since we had our first video call.
I had sought the Lord many times if I was going to say yes to Miki. I had many doubts about myself entering a relationship, but amazingly, God's word was so affirming. Every single day, right after we had that DTR, there was always a leading from the Lord to say yes to the relationship, and it was for marriage. There were many more promptings from the Lord through the different circumstances and people.
Yep, many times I struggled during the courtship, thinking Daniel would turn me down because of my insecurities. But the Lord proved himself that not with my own efforts alone, but by his grace that he will grant me my heart's desire. I always had an impression from the Lord to just keep going and pursuing Daniel and have faith. He surely didn't fail me.
Most of my insecurities also came out during the duration of our courtship, and I actually wanted to give up on the idea of being in a relationship, but God's word was so encouraging. I was reminded that I'm not entering a relationship because I deserved or earned it, but because it was God's gift to me. I thought I needed to be perfect in all the areas of my life before I could enter a relationship. But the Lord proved to me that only by His grace that I will be able to love Miki as how the Lord loves him. Just like what it says on 1 John 4:19, we love because He first loved us.
It's so fulfilling to be in a relationship with Daniel. What makes it so amazing is that I felt inadequate many times during the courtship and even until now. I feel like I haven't ticked all the check boxes for a young man who is ready for marriage, quote unquote. But it's not about what I have done, but what God has ordained to happen for me. He really moved Daniel's heart to accept me for who I am. And now I have found what makes life worth living. Hear the wisdom of one who thoroughly understands the difficulty of existence and what makes it enjoyable in Ecclesiastes 9:9. Enjoy life with your wife whom you love. All the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun, all your meaningless days. For this is your lot in life and in your toilsome labor under the sun.
The end.
Yaboo! Boom, chick, boom, boom, chick, boom, boom. Ah, ah.
Yeah.